Alright, I'm giving you 10 anime that you've probably never heard of, but they are objectively better than almost everything on your current watch list. We've all seen enough of Truck-kun and generic harem tropes to last a lifetime, but this is just elite storytelling that actually respects your time. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. The Drifters. Okay, so normally, when we hear Isekai, it's the same story. Some random high school kid gets transported to another world and accidentally builds a harem just by breathing. But Drifters said, yeah, nope. Instead, it grabs the most violent, unhinged legends from real human history and throws them into a fantasy world that's already on fire. Samurai, Vikings, World War II pilots, no tutorial, no mercy.
Now, I'm not going to say his name, but if you know even a little bit of history, you already know exactly who shows up.
And yes, he immediately chooses violence. That should tell you everything you need to know about this show. There's no power of friendship here. No long training arcs where everyone suddenly gets stronger because they believed hard enough. If you're tired of brain-dead isekai and want something that actually treats you like an adult, yeah, start with Drifters. Number 2, The Faraway Paladin. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another isekai? Really? But stay with me, because this is the exact opposite of those cheap power fantasies we just talked about. There are no cheat codes here, no harem. Just a boy raised by 3 monsters, a skeleton, a ghost, and a mummy, who teach him what it actually means to live with honor. This anime feels less like an anime and more like a classic high fantasy novel. It treats its world building with a level of maturity and spiritual depth that's honestly rare in this medium. It's about the weight of a prayer, the cost of a promise, and a protagonist who's genuinely terrified of failing the people who raised him. And honestly, I'm tired of protagonists who are overpowered for no reason. If you feel the same, this is a breath of fresh air. It's a slow burn masterpiece that rewards you with some of the most emotional payoff I've seen in years. Number 3. Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions. Most shows make killing a goblin look like a chore, or a joke, right? In Grimgar, killing a single goblin is a traumatic life or death struggle that can take an entire episode. This isn't a game where you level up and become a god. It's a story about survival, grief, and the terrifying reality of being a weak human in a world that actively wants you dead. The first thing you'll notice is the art. It looks like a moving watercolor painting. But don't let the beautiful scenery fool you. This is a slow burn psychological drama that focuses more on the human moments between the fights than the fights themselves. If you're sick of power fantasies where the hero never truly struggles, Grimgar is your reality check. And if you appreciate slower, more meaningful anime like this, consider leaving a like.
No? Anyway, moving on.
Number 4, Recreators. We've spent the last 3 picks talking about people going to other worlds. But what happens when the anime characters come to ours? Imagine this for a second. Characters from your favourite dark fantasy suddenly manifest in modern-day Tokyo, and they want to meet their creators. These characters have suffered in their stories. Now they're confronting the writers who forced them to go through that trauma.
Honestly, I don't blame them.
And if you're a fan of Hiroyuki Sawano, the soundtrack alone is worth the watch. It's pure hype. But the real reason this show respects your time is that it's a complete original story that actually explores the consequences of its own insane concept. Number 5. Dead Mount Deathplay. Most stories end with the hero defeating the evil necromancer, right? Well, this show starts there. But instead of dying, the corpse god uses a reincarnation spell to escape into our world, waking up in the body of a boy in modern-day Shinjuku who was literally just assassinated. This isn't a story about a hero. It's about a legendary villain trying to live a quiet life, while the criminal underworld actively hunts him down. And if the writing feels incredibly sharp, that's because it's from Ryogo Narita, the mastermind behind Durarara and Bakano. Just like those classics, this isn't just one story. It's a massive web of eccentric assassins, supernatural police forces, and cults. Honestly, leave a comment if you've seen this one, because I genuinely don't remember the last time anyone talked about this show. Number 6. The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Okay, quick tone shift, because Wayne is not your typical anime prince. He's a certified genius who's completely burned out, hates ruling, and just wants to sell his kingdom to the highest bidder, so he can retire in luxury.
But there's only one problem. He's too good at his job.
Every time he tries to lose a war, crash the economy, or make his country look weak, he accidentally pulls off a flawless strategy, and his nation becomes even more powerful. If you're tired of dumb protagonists who win just because they're the main character, Wayne's 200 IQ plays are a breath of fresh air. It's No Game No Life meets Civilization, and it's an absolute hidden gem. Number 7. Mao Yu, archenemy and hero. Usually the hero reaches the Demon Queen's castle, they fight to the death, and the credits roll. But in this show, the Demon Queen actually waits for the hero with a presentation. She explains that killing her won't bring peace, it'll bring economic collapse and starvation. So, instead of fighting, they sign a contract to work together and change the world through science, agriculture, and trade. This anime is purely for the thinkers. It's about how introducing the potato can save a village, or how a new banking system can end a war. It's mature, romantic, and it treats its audience like adults. And trust me, you aren't watching two people scream their attacks. You're watching two geniuses outmaneuver the greedy church and corrupt nobles who want the war to last forever. To be honest, it's a crime this anime never got the love it deserved. Number 8. Handyman Saito in Another World. We've seen heroes with legendary swords and overpowered magic, right? But Saito, he's just a guy who knows how to change a lock, fix a furnace, and open a stuck chest. He's a handyman from Japan who gets transported to a fantasy world and realizes that in a party full of elite mages and warriors, the most valuable person is the one who can actually maintain their gear. It has some of the most creative magic systems I've ever seen, and the backstories for these characters, especially the senile old wizard Morlock, will genuinely catch you off guard with how deep they go. Every joke in the first 3 episodes is actually a setup for a massive payoff later. It's funny, surprisingly brutal at times, and it's one of the most wholesome found family stories in anime. Number 9. The Kingdom of Ruins. If you're tired of protagonists who forgive villains after they've committed atrocities, then meet Adonis. In a world where humanity used technology to hunt witches to near extinction, Adonis watches his mentor, the woman who raised him, get brutally executed by the state. He doesn't want justice, he doesn't want peace. He wants every single human on the planet to suffer for what they did. This show is a beautiful, bloody collision between high-tech sci-fi and ancient magic. It explores the dark side of human progress, and what happens when a society becomes so obsessed with power that it destroys the very thing that made it special in the first place. If you want a show that goes to places most anime are too afraid to touch, The Kingdom of Ruins is a dark journey you need to take. Number 10. Parallel World Pharmacy. This is the ultimate professional isekai. We've seen gamers and shut-ins get sent to other worlds, but this time it's a world-class pharmacologist who literally dies from overwork. He wakes up in a medieval fantasy world where medicine is basically prayers and harmful superstitions. And instead of relying on flashy magic, he uses real science, molecular biology, chemistry, to create actual cures for diseases that were once death sentences. He's not fighting monsters, he's fighting a corrupt medical guild, and an entire society that thinks life-saving medicine is heresy. And it's the perfect ending to this list, because it proves one thing. The most overpowered thing you can bring to another world is a modern education. And that's the list. If you're tired of generic power fantasy isekai and want stories that actually try something different, I hope you found at least one new anime to add to your watch list. Let me know in the comments which one you're checking out first, and if you enjoyed this kind of list, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.